5 hidden affairs that were accidentally exposed. Reddit stories.
Some people think they know their partner completely until one small detail changes everything. A second phone, a message sent to the wrong person, a neighbor who saw something they shouldn't have. Tonight, you'll hear 5 real stories inspired by Reddit posts where hidden affairs were exposed in the most unexpected ways. And in one of these stories, the person who discovered the betrayal wasn't even looking for it. By the end of this video, you might start noticing the small signs people usually ignore. Let's begin. Story 1. The second phone. He trusted his wife completely until one night her phone rang while she was in the shower. But it wasn't her phone. Mark had been married for 8 years. Nothing about their relationship seemed suspicious. They both worked full-time, shared a house in a quiet neighborhood, and spent most evenings watching Netflix together. At least, that's what Mark believed. One night, Mark heard a vibration coming from the couch. He picked up his wife's phone to silence it. But the screen was dark. The vibration kept going. So he started looking around, and then he noticed something strange. A small black phone half hidden between the couch cushions. Mark opened it. No lock screen. Just messages. Hundreds of them. From the same contact. And the first message he saw said, "I miss you already." Mark scrolled. Photos. Plans to meet. Conversations that had been happening for months. His wife had been living a completely different life. When she came out of the shower, Mark didn't yell. He just placed the second phone on the table. She froze immediately, and without saying a word, she started crying because she knew exactly what he had found. Sometimes the truth isn't hidden well. We just never expect to find it. What would you have done in Mark's situation? Story 2. The wrong text. This next story started with a single message, but it wasn't meant for the person who received it. Emily had been dating her boyfriend Jason for 3 years. They talked constantly, texted all day. Everything seemed normal. One afternoon, Emily received a message from Jason, but something about it felt strange. The message said, "I can't wait to see you tonight. Last night was amazing." Emily stared at the screen because she hadn't seen Jason the night before. At first, she thought it was a joke, so she asked him what he meant. But Jason's reply came quickly, too quickly. He said the message was meant for a coworker, about a work project. But Emily knew that wasn't true, and when she looked closer, she noticed the message had originally been written with a heart emoji, then quickly edited. Jason had accidentally sent a message meant for someone else, and in the process, revealed a relationship Emily never knew existed. Sometimes people expose themselves without realizing it. One wrong message, one wrong moment, and everything collapses. Story 3. The neighbor. The next story didn't involve phones or messages. It involved a neighbor who noticed something strange happening every afternoon. Daniel worked long shifts at a hospital. His schedule meant he was rarely home during the day. But his neighbor, Mrs. Carter, was retired, and she spent most of her afternoons gardening. After a few months, she started noticing the same car parking outside Daniel's house, almost every day, at the same time. But Daniel was always at work. One day, she decided to ask him about it. At first, Daniel thought she must have been mistaken, but when she described the car, he recognized it immediately. It belonged to his wife's coworker. Daniel checked his home security camera, and there it was. Weeks of footage, showing the same man walking into his house while he was at work. Sometimes the truth isn't discovered by the person being betrayed. Sometimes it's discovered by someone watching from the outside. Story 4. The trip that never happened. In this story, the lie seemed small at first. Just a simple work trip. But something didn't add up. Rachel's husband told her he needed to travel for work. 3 days in Chicago. It wasn't unusual. His job required frequent travel. But on the second day, Rachel received a strange notification. Her husband had used their shared credit card at a restaurant in their own city. At first, she assumed it was fraud, but the charge appeared again later that evening at a hotel downtown. Rachel decided to drive there. When she walked into the hotel lobby, she saw him, not alone, but sitting at the bar with another woman, laughing, like Rachel didn't exist. The biggest lies are often hidden by the most ordinary excuses. Story 5. The Friend Who Knew. The final story might be the most disturbing one, because the betrayal wasn't just from a partner. It was from someone else too. Chris trusted 2 people more than anyone: his girlfriend and his best friend. They had known each other for years, but recently something felt strange. Whenever Chris mentioned hanging out together, his friend suddenly became busy, and his girlfriend always had another plan. One night, Chris decided to visit his friend unexpectedly, just to surprise him. But when he arrived at the apartment, he saw something that made his stomach drop. His girlfriend's car was parked outside. When the door opened, both of them were standing there, looking equally shocked, because they never expected Chris to show up. Some betrayals come from the people you trust the most, and those are the hardest ones to understand. If these stories teach us anything, it's that the truth rarely appears all at once. It usually starts with something small: a strange message, a missing explanation, a moment that doesn't quite make sense. Most people ignore those signs, not because they are blind, but because trusting someone feels easier than questioning them. If you enjoyed stories like these, there's another video on this channel where people discovered shocking secrets about their partners in even stranger ways. You can check it out right here. And once you hear those stories, you might start seeing relationships very differently.